title of her speech is, Do You Remember? She's working on project number 4, Competent Communicator, How to Say It. Her goals is to select the right words and sentence structure to communicate your ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly. Use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize ideas. Eliminate jargon and unnecessary words and use correct grammar. Her speech will be from 5 to 7 minutes. A few things about Helen. She was born in Waukegan, Illinois, and she currently resides in Rockwall, Texas. She has been with AT&T for 24 years, and she currently is working as an outside plant engineer in the Dallas East Engineering Office. Helen Forbis.
Please stand on your feet. Come on, shake it out, shake it out. Come on. Y'all love this song. Come on.
Do you remember when it was time in September?
Thank you. Just wanted to get you guys up off your feet. And my topic of my speech today is, do you remember? That song, September, by Earth, Wind & Fire, was released in 1978 on the Best of Earth, Wind & Fire Volume 1 album. This song is significant to me because I graduated in 1980 from high school. But this song played, this was our graduation song in high school. This particular song crossed color lines, it crossed cultural lines. When they played this song at our dance, everybody was on the floor. You didn't have to have a partner. That was back in the day when you didn't dance on the floor without somebody. You had to have a partner. This song, it didn't matter. Everybody was up on the floor. On my vacation the last 2 weeks, I had the pleasure of attending my 30th class reunion, class of 1980 in Waukegan, Illinois. And this had me thinking about relationships and how you establish relationships, how you nurture relationships. One of the common questions that was asked of me that weekend was, Helen, how do you know everybody? Well, I don't know everybody. Out of this picture, there are probably 5 people in here that I don't remember. But the reason I don't remember them is because I have no personal experience with them. And I realized that weekend that it's the personal experiences that help me to remember who people are. On that weekend, met a group of fellas. These are what I call the fellas. They're from the hood, my neighborhood. So these are relationships that have been established since kindergarten, grade school. These gentlemen I have met, have known just about all of my life, and I also know them. They also know me very well. It was nice to come back and see them. I have personal individual relationship with all of them, and if I went to and gave you the experiences, I'll give you some on some of them, but not on all of them because it would go well over my 7 minutes. But here is a picture of my experiences, the fellas. You have to know them. I was a wrestling cheerleader. I was a football cheerleader. I was a soccer cheerleader. And yes, they had wrestling and soccer cheerleaders at my high school. Most of these guys played football, played basketball, they wrestled, or they played soccer. Of course, none of the brothers played soccer, but there are some other people in here. But the thing is that I've had experiences with all these people. This photo here, this is my best friend, Sophie. We've been friends since kindergarten. This girl here, Mary, we've been friends since 4th grade. This is Kathy. We also met her in 4th grade. All of these ladies, we have been friends since 1st grade. These relationships have been established very young, and after 40 years, dare say, they're still going very strong. So my experiences with these ladies go way, way back, and I'll get more descriptive in some of them a little later. This is my friend Sue and my friend Bob. Now, Bob didn't think I remembered who he was. He came up to me and acted like, you don't know who I am. You don't know who I am. You're Bob Moore. I most certainly do. How do you remember me, Helen? Well, Bob, I remember you and Sue in freshman class. You were sitting 2 seats in front of me, and you were so hungover, you threw up in class. Now, he got took aback. He was like, oh, you remember me by such a bad thing? And I further explained to him, Bob, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's how I remember you. It's how I connect to you. Although you may think it's bad, but that one little element right there reminds me of Bob Moore and Sue Reed. This is my friend Ricky Martinez. Ricky was my very first date. He was my prom date. I didn't have a date until I was a senior in high school. But I didn't dare tell Ricky that because I didn't want him to know that he was my first date. I didn't want him to think I was inexperienced. You know, I didn't want to give him the advantage over me. But Ricky was my first date, and I was so nervous. And it was funny because of meeting him, I got just as nervous meeting him again. This is my friend Ross. Ross is a doctor now. Some relationships are established, just as Anitra stated, by networking or knowing people who know people. Ross is a doctor, and although we went to high school together, Ross and I weren't close in high school. But you know, this is my girl right here, and she loved her some Ross Hauser. So Ross and I became friends as a result of Sophie loving some Ross Hauser. And that's how Ross and I have established a relationship. These are my friends Maria and Rosanna. Rosanna and Maria were in my Spanish class. We established a relationship right there. We decided that in high school, in order to better get the language, we would not speak English to each other. Even in passing in the hallways, we only spoke Spanish. That's Maria and Rosanna. This is Sue and Vicky. Sue and Vicky are like 2 peas in a pod. They're always together, always. And we were cheerleaders, so we've got many cheerleading experiences to talk about. Now, some relationships are formed. This is a picture of all of these. All these individuals in the pictures, we've been together since grade school. We all attended grade school together. We're in the same class together. So we have relationships that have gone and have been formed over years and that are still continuing. But the thing about relationships is that you don't always get a choice in who you have a relationship in. This is my mother. Some relationships we're born to. Some relationships we bear. This is my son. Some relationships we enter into by our family, our siblings. These are all my nieces and nephews, or some of them. But in conclusion, some relationships you choose to get into for the rest of your life. Thank you.